If you've been seeing a gradual or maybe not so gradual decline in your Etsy sales, then this video is for you. I'm going to be giving you all of the tips and necessary action steps that you need to be taking to ensure that you can solve this problem for your store, especially if you're somebody that's experiencing a decline in sales for the very first time. So let's get into it. There's going to be 4 things that we're going to cover in this video. And so the first one is that you have to remember that this is a business. The thing that you have to understand about business in general, no matter what you do, is there are ebbs and flows. Markets go up, markets go down. Sales are great one month, sometimes they're bad the next month. That is the nature of business. You can't avoid it. And a lot of times for new sellers, they kickstart and they start getting good sales, and then they see a decline and they automatically assume that the world is crashing, the market's crashing, Etsy's crashing, or their product sucks, and that it's all coming to an end. But in reality, it's not. I'm here to tell you that it's not. Entrepreneurship is something like this graph where it's like 1 second, oh my gosh, I'm on top of the world, I'm getting sales, I feel great. The next second you're like, oh my gosh, do I even know what I'm doing? Like what's happening here? And then all of a sudden it starts working again, right? Obviously you get the point. This trajectory is not this perfect line to upward, perfect blissful sales forever. And this is true, again, no matter what type of business you go into. And it's the entrepreneurs that stick it through the low peaks that make it out to really understanding the depths of what it means at the core to be an entrepreneur. And it's hard. Like there's just no right way around it. It's really, really hard. I've been in this game for many years, and I can tell you this year has probably been the hardest year of my life. When times do get hard, we have to go back to the basics. This game is so much more mental than it actually is physical. And unfortunately, when sales are on a decline, it makes us question our entire existence and whether or not we should continue. But again, and part of this step number 1 is to give you the encouragement, to give you the empowerment that this is a part of the journey. And it's almost like little tests of the universe of, okay, who's going to stick it out through this one? Who's going to stick it out through this one? So yes, even if markets do go down one year, that doesn't mean that they're not going to come back the next year. Or if Etsy had a major algorithm update and it really messed up the whole sales trajectory of your shop, that doesn't mean that it's not fixable. Every single problem has a solution. Again, it's just who's gonna stick it out to get to the other side. And one thing that I also like to mention that, our immediate response to a decline of sales is exactly what I said. It's basically like we just point fingers everywhere else before considering that it could be something that we're doing. And so in the preceding steps, if you really fully haven't investigated and tried all of these steps that are coming up, or things that you can challenge yourself on or question yourself on, then you may be prematurely blaming the world for something that actually truly is fixable. So this leads me to number 2. Again, before we go off and we blame every single other outlier variable that we can't control, we need to go and validate that maybe there are competition or new competition coming to the marketplace that's actually beating us. And so you can use tools like eRank. They have like a competitor tracker, or if you just want to do it manually, you can do it that way as well, where basically you can track your competition and see how many daily sales they're getting. So the goal with this is to go out and find shops that are directly competing for the same customer avatar as you. So you're attracting the same customer avatar. Those are who your real who your real competition is. And if you do find people that are in the marketplace that are getting more daily sales than you, then we have to figure out why. There's clearly a reason why there would be another shop attracting the same customer avatar as you and getting more sales. And actually, if you can't find competitors that are beating you, then that actually is a bad sign, because that means that maybe there is an outlier reason of why, your sales are declining. And so the first thing that you want to do is like, okay, well, who's actually beating me right now? Who are those people and what are they doing that I'm not doing? It could be the variety of their product line. It could be their sale price. It could be the quality that they offer. It could be the marketing. So the actual imagery, the creative marketing, which is normally one of the biggest things that people have to overcome. And we have to investigate on what they're doing that possibly we're not. The third question that we need to ask ourselves is, how often am I innovating on my existing product line? So if a Nike the brand Nike, or I don't know, what are some other really long time brands? I always say Free People, even like Victoria's Secret. I don't know if that's a good one because they might be on their way out. Anyway, Nike, everyone knows what Nike is. Like if Nike only kept its initial product line from back decades ago and never innovated on its product line, then you probably wouldn't like Nike. You probably wouldn't, I don't even know, you might not even like them now. But the point is like they wouldn't have made it to where they are today. They're constantly innovating and improving upon what is always there. And sometimes when I'm asking sellers that are seeing a decline in sales, when I say, how often do you do this? They're like, oh, well, I haven't done it in, a couple of months. And unfortunately, in the product, in a physical product space, online or not, you have to be consistently improving your product line. It is actually the nature of this business engine. And I'm going to give you an example of what we actually do in our shop in a second. Another thing that I see sellers do is they get really emotionally attached to listings. So listings that historically were performing really well, they give a lot of brain energy, a lot of mental energy of stress over why this product is on a decline. And that is also part of selling physical goods. Listings have lifespans. Ultimately, after you've done all the things that I'm also going to be sharing later in this video, it comes down to it's just the product, and we need to focus that energy and remove that stress and put that energy into new products. So there's only so many things that you can do if a listing is on a decline. And again, we'll talk about those, but it's not worth the brain energy after you've done all the things that you can do to try to revive that product and have this emotional attachment. That energy is better spent on launching new and developing new and better products for the future. So here is an entire list of ways that you can be innovating on your product line. And if you're not doing, if you can confidently say that you've done all of these things, then there might be an actual issue with an outlier variable that you can't control, unless of course you have competition down the road that is doing better than you. Then there's no excuse. There is something that you're not innovating in the right way, or you haven't acquired a certain skill yet that is going to push you back into seeing the sales that you want. So the first thing is split testing imagery. Imagery. People love to get caught up in SEO and keywords, and they definitely matter. Keywords matter, SEO matters for sure. But the problem is you can find listings with 100 add to cart badges, bestseller badge that has no keyword optimization, but a crazy killer main image and a good product. But what you won't find is a listing that has really, really good SEO, but a poor image and a bad product with 100 add to cart badge. The majority of your energy should be spent in your imagery and actually developing the product and the value proposition of the product, which is the price they see versus the perceived value of the product in the image. And so when it comes to testing your images, and again, we're going to explain what I do in my own business later in this video, you want to be testing out multiple images when you're launching your products, or mock-ups in different staging environments. So if you're selling print on demand and you're selling t-shirts, split test that design on multiple mock-ups when you go to market for the first time to see which one gets the higher CTR and which one works best. This is ensuring that you're testing on all angles and not just limiting yourself to one type of mock-up, because the mock-up in the staging environment of your product can make or break the click or earning that click. Number two is experiment with your product variations. So if you've historically never offered product variations and you have competitors that offer a wide array of variation options, this could be something that isn't making you more competitive than your competition. So again, that goes back to analyzing your competition. Is there any way that you can add more variation into your listing? Adding variation options, by the way, remember on Etsy, your cheapest price is what is displayed. So this also helps in your perceived value in earning that click. The next one is monitor customer engagement. So as you've had reviews collected, or you're collecting reviews or getting messages, ask for feedback from your customers. Is there something that you can do to improve your product, and record those responses? We just built a software right now called Profitry.io, which is the first automated Etsy profit tracking software. Different story, different video. But the moral of the story is every single time someone sends us a customer service request or a complaint even, we're actually having a living document that's recording all of those responses. So we know where we need to put our time and our energy and money in improving the product. And one thing that comes up a lot that I think people overlook is that sometimes customers can be really confused with your product variations. So if you're getting repeat complaints about them being confused, if someone's actually taking the time to message you that they're confused about what they're getting for what your drop-down menu is displaying, then you can guarantee that there's other people confused. And confusion of what the buyer is getting is like the surefire way to lose the sale. So you're lucky if people are even reaching out to you. If you're getting multiple requests, 2-3 requests that they're confused about how to buy the actual product, that kills your conversion rate. Your listings, your photos should be linked to your variation options. So it's very clear the exact product that they're getting for the price point is made very clear, or if there's a personalization request or anything like that, sizing chart, it needs to be made for a second grader. The next one is test bundle upsell. So we talked about variation options and just having more variation, which is something that I personally think our store does really well because we add variation in colors that no one has because there's so much quality control. We go the extra mile when other shops don't because there is so much quality control issues with our product that we sell and the material that we work with. One of the keys to our success is that we bundle everything. So in the main image, they see the 3 items bundled together, and then when they go to the drop-down menu, they have an option to buy each thing individually and the full set option, and it's made very clear with the images attached to the variation options, so there's no confusion. The next one is cross-sell into new product categories. So if you're selling candles and just launching more candles isn't increasing your top line, then you may have hit a ceiling for that product line, and it might be the right time to consider cross-selling into new product categories that make sense for your store. And this is also something that we're experiencing in our own shop right now. Cross-selling into new product categories is going to attract new customer avatars, and it's going to expand your searchability of the types of people you can sell to on the platform. And finally is test a new brand style. So this again kind of goes back to the Nike example where, you know, the style of Nike of what it was to what it is today is wildly different. So like this is really common. Like one example I can give is like in the jewelry space. Like you've historically always sold the same type of necklace with the same type of chain, and the majority of your listings have this one staple chain with just a change of a pendant. That would be like your staple product that exists in the majority of your listings. If you haven't introduced a new different type of style, it doesn't mean you have to like completely pivot into selling candles if you're in jewelry, but it just means how can you add in new renditions of different types of chains or herringbone or Cuban or maybe earrings or bracelets into something that you historically were only doing one single type of. Or if you just sold bow ties and you always just made your bow ties on a single cotton style type of fabric, maybe you could try to consider doing different product materials like linen or leather or I don't know, whatever's trending in that space, but pivot away from what you've always historically done to innovate on that existing product. And the last one is always personalization. Personalization, customization on your products on Etsy is always going to normally outperform without personalization. So having a personalization option does require more work, but historically on Etsy, it is what performs the best. Is that something that even makes sense for your store or something that you could implement? And finally, to give you an example of what we do in our existing store. So with every single month, we have a consistent photo shoot. We have one photo shoot per month. This photo shoot is launching 10 new designs of products. So actually new SKUs, actually new products. But in that photo shoot with the 10 new products, we're also testing out the rebundling of old products that are on a downward trend. So if we see products that were selling really good in the past, but they're not selling as hot anymore, we'll actually redo a fresh new photo shoot and republish a new listing of that old product to see if it changes anything to the algorithm by giving it a fresh new round of photography. So in this photo shoot, there's a mix of launching new designs and retesting out old products that historically used to sell well. And this is a consistent thing that's happening month over month. And so inside of doing this, each product that we brought for the photo shoot is going to get staged in multiple environments by itself. So each one of those is going to create its own listing, but then we'll start bundling it. So then we'll bundle the same product twice. So it's like more for less in the value proposition of the listing. listing, but then also we'll test out bundles with other products that it will look good with. So now all of a sudden we have 10 new products being launched that month, but these 10 products in conjunction with retesting old products and bundling things together are gonna make 20 or 30 new listings each month. So we have this consistent growing happening. And then about once or twice a year, I would say every other quarter, we consider launching actually new product types into our catalog to mix in new products to attract new customer avatars. This is a consistent thing happening. Just like big companies forecast, what they're gonna do for their fall collection next year, on a micro small business level, we have our version of it happening as well. And finally, the number 4, this isn't a surefire solution because if your listings are declining and they used to sell really well, this actually might not be the solution at all. But to increase sales, if you're somebody that hasn't tapped into Etsy ads yet, Etsy ads are the lowest hanging fruit to increase your sales. Why is that? It's because Etsy ads are being shown to the hottest traffic on the internet, which is people searching for your products, already looking to buy the products with keywords they're typing into the search bar that already exist in your listing. And so if you haven't got into Etsy ads, I'll link a video above, a full training on how to really run ads profitably and understand what that really looks like for your store. Because just for example, last year I ran a case study where we basically would have lost out on $34,000 of profit. Worst case, minimum, trackable profit was over $34,000 that we would have lost in profit in 2023 if we didn't run Etsy ads. So if your store historically has been open for a while and you are not running Etsy ads, you haven't actually even hit your max profit potential yet, because your store becomes a whole new store when you max out your Etsy ad budget in terms of profitability and the amount of sales and customers that you get. It's a whole different game. So you don't have to run Etsy ads, but if you are somebody struggling with sales, if you get your ads profitable with all your new product listings basically, or just even products that were selling organically, but they make sense with Etsy ads on, you're not even close to hitting your store's potential without tapping into that revenue stream. So I'll link that video above. And overall, guys, I hope you enjoyed this training and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.